Ready?
Let's do it.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to call the Warwick County Drainage Boards to order. Today's August 25th, 2025. Gentlemen, could you join us in the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is the approval of minutes from the August 11th, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Next order of business is our claims for a total of $509.14.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Lot 20 Castle Ridge.
Yeah, I'll take that one, Terry. They came to ask approval to put in a culvert on Lot 20 there as part of that subdivision. Denton is the contractor. I went to look at what they wanted to do. My records show that that creek is still part of the legal drain system of Gardner Webb Ditch. And it proceeds on from there, clear up and over to Fuquay Road, which is quite some distance. There's still a lot of water coming down that creek channel. Steve and I have been talking about what the heck happened to the drainage easement through there, because as you came into that subdivision, we had 80 feet on each side of Gardner Webb. And then you go into the subdivision and it's been narrowed down to a 5 foot on each side urban drainage easement, which I don't think is quite right. Anyway, I got there, they'd hauled a huge amount of fill in to the lot. The lot laid low. They probably 20 feet of fill. They ran the fill over and filled the creek up. No erosion protection. And I got a little bit mad about that. I couldn't find a manhole that was supposed to have been already there that was part of the drainage from a street inlet on a cul-de-sac. They covered it up. I'd been told previously all they needed this pipe in this ditch for was so that the owner could get to his swimming pool when he built it on the backside of the creek. Well, as I looked at the fill pad they had just built, I could see where the swimming pool was already staked out, and it wasn't where they said it was going to be. And all that in combination, they hadn't done anything to really keep all of the trackage from the trucks from getting out on the street, and just the general lack of attention to good management practices there. I called the contractor and told him that I knew he was wanting a pipe there, but I wasn't going to approve that. And I called the Cash Wagner, his engineer, and said that there's no way I can approve this pipe. So you don't even have to come to the drainage board meeting.
Okay.
And, that's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Council, that's on the agenda.
Motion to deny?
Okay,
I'll make the motion.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, any other business?
All I have is that, as you all know, the Ayrshire Mine Coal Refuge Dam is staring us in the face, the possible breakage of that dam and the consequences of it breaking. Been in contact with nearly 30 people on the state level, all the way to the governor. I've done this through Senator Vanita Becker's office, through letters that she hand delivered to the governor. I'm getting responses back from the various organizations that the last one was from an administrative law judge that said, we stand by our original determination that the dam is stable and it is in no danger of breaking. And they're obviously not aware of the situation or familiar with it as I am, and are not familiar with the consequences of 22 million cubic yards of coal waste going into Pigeon Creek. And so the last email I sent to the judge said that I disagreed, that she's being fed wrong information, in my opinion, and that I would take it to a higher level.
Do you, I know that you've asked for, they've told you nothing's wrong.
Right.
Which should be backed up by some data. Have they even told you when you might receive that?
No, I've requested the data, as you know, and
Yep.
they have a system of retrieval of documents, and I've gone through that system and formally requested the documents. They don't exist, Terry. I know they don't exist.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not getting any responses, and I don't expect to.
So I guess just to clear up, I don't know how that system works. When we do public records requests, I think that we normally send those to people, whatever they ask for. You're saying they've got a system where we'd have to go retrieve those ourselves?
No, we asked them to retrieve them from their archives for us and send them.
Okay.
Yeah, they retrieve.
Got it.
And we don't have to go retrieve. So I've asked for that, and it's on record, and they said allow up to 14 days because it could take them that long to find
So
them.
you've at least got an upfront disclaimer statement there.
That's right. But
Okay.
they won't find the documents. They don't exist.
Okay. Is there anything
So
else
I
to add
just
to that?
plan to keep pressure on to protect our interests and turn the heat up a little bit more. I really, in my heart, fear for what will happen when that dam breaks. But I still also believe foregoing any earthquakes or seismic events, that there still is time to try to stabilize it and recover what's in it, so it doesn't break and block all the drainage that Pigeon Creek affects, which is, nearly 1 million acres.
Council, I have a question for you. So I think, Dennis is trying to do what he can do to protect the public, obviously. We as a county, this board is also a board of commissioners later in the day. Are we doing what we need to do to protect ourselves?
Yes, and after 14 days, if we don't get a response to Dennis's request for the documents, we could in fact proceed to court, but the drainage board would have to make a resolution to do that.
Steve, anything to add from your side of the conversation?
I've been
Just from,
talking back and forth with Dennis all along. I've been aware of it, not quite as long as he has, but I remember when AMAX started creating it back with my involvement with the county started in 1988. So I'm aware that it's there. I know he's had some Lockmuir group do some monitoring.
Right.
I don't know if you have any data from that.
Yes, I do, Steve. There's an area right above where it failed previously when it was a lot younger and a lot lower, where it was built out of poorly constructed. It was just pushed across clay fill, across alluvium with no keyway across the creek bed. That's where they first dammed it up, and it failed there when the structure was young. That's where I'm seeing it concentrated. Of the 21 settlement pins, that group right over that spot are all doing strange things. There seems to be some sort of an undulation happening.
And you have some piezometers or pressure gauges.
There's piezometers, and oddly enough, they've all been squashed so that you can't gauge them now, which is kind of interesting. Before this all started, there was one piezometer in the vicinity that was running over, which indicates tremendous pore pressure internally. And
When you say squashed, do you mean vandalized?
No, somebody they just squeezed them shut. No,
Those are the measurement instruments that were there before
they,
Lockmuller set theirs, correct?
yes,
Okay.
these were put in back with the original construction of the dam. And they're a very critical part of monitoring. And they're supposed to have been monitored every 2 years by a professional engineer. And the whole dam structure the whole structure of the dam was supposed to be inspected and a report written and documented with the DNR. And that's the documents I want to see. And I know they're not there because they admitted, the field level people said, we haven't monitored this.
And the legal aspects, as AMAX disavowed their association with it since they sold the land.
That's what they tried to do. But I go clear back to the regs. They violated all the federal and state regs having to do with the Surface Mining and Reclamation Control Act of 1978, which says that you cannot leave a dam constructed of coal waste or refuse in place in the post-mining land use plan. You can have it there when you're running and using and you're active, but at the end, when you're asking for your bond release, it has to be gone. It can't be a part of the post-mining land use plan. They chose to ignore that.
Has to be appropriately closed out.
Well, you can't have a structure made out of coal waste or refuse. It's bad engineering.
So for those of you who are not familiar with what he's talking about, coal waste, they had a multi-story concrete structure where the coal was processed, and it's the tailings or washings that's pumped into this pit that Dennis is referring to.
That's right.
And the rest of the coal was loaded up and sold to market.
It's 22 million cubic yards. That's hard to fathom that much volume. That's just the fine coal that's in the center. Then the dikes themselves, the top of the elevation of the highest part of the dike is at elevation 465. The creek the toe of it sits 50 feet from the creek, and that elevation is 370. So it's 95 feet tall at that point with a 3.5 to 1 slope that's almost too steep to walk up and down. It has not been mowed or maintained. It's grown up in trees, which are an absolute no-no in dam maintenance. Records are required by law to be kept and stamped by a professional engineer. That hasn't been done, and they pushed it off on an unsuspecting landowner. All I want, and that for the county and for the performance of my job, is the thing to be gone. And I want help. I have some ideas that could be employed, but we need the cooperation of the regulatory agencies. And I hate to call foul here, but I'm going to call foul. They're not responding, and it's time to turn the heat up to cause them to respond and help us before it breaks.
What's day 14 on the record request?
I'm sorry, day 14. Terry, I think do you remember when I sent that off, Ashley? It was probably Thursday of last week.
Okay.
So it was the 14th? Was Thursday?
It was the day after
last week.
you went with me, Maury, out there to see it.
I think it's the 14th.
Maury has seen it.
Last week, he said that'd be the 21st, unless it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're right. 21st.
So technically, he's got till September.
So can we just mark our calendars
September
for the
4th,
5th and
September
say
5th.
Yeah.
close the business Friday? We're on the lookout.
September 5th would be the day that, one day, it would be 15 days. September 5th.
Okay. You were copied on an email to Dave Maury just before.
I saw it.
Okay. Are you good as counsel with my wording?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Mr. Sherwood?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have asked representatives from Baker Tilly to be here today. I appreciate they get the supplemental contract done and ready for your presentation here in short order.
And this is the hearing on the public
This
notice.
is the public notice. It's been posted in the paper twice as required by law. And with that, I'd like to introduce, I'd like the Baker Tilly representatives to introduce themselves and come forward for the record.
So, sir, hold on just 1 second here. You're fine. Come on up. Do I need to close the meeting first? Enter into the,
Committee,
I'll enter a motion, or I'm sorry,
committee as a whole.
entertain a motion to close the regular session, enter into the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, sir.
Well, good afternoon, all. And as Steve alluded to, I'm Doug Baldessari with Baker Tilly, principal with Baker Tilly. And I have Joey Mazzy here that worked with me on this update of the rate study that was originally done in 2023. As you're aware, there's been recent legislation that has reduced revenues of governments throughout Indiana. And as such, it's a good idea to make sure that all your revenue producing funds are able to cover their own costs and pay their fair share. So we have updated that rate study. I believe you have a draft before you.
Yeah, I have a copy in front of each of the board members.
So we updated the study for calendar year 2024 revenues and expenses. And we also got updated capital improvement plan information from Steve and Dennis for the needs of the stormwater and drainage. So if you want to turn to page 2, we first look at your cash balances of the stormwater utility and compare them to recommended fund balances for utility. Stormwater utility is really like a water sewer utility. It's billed through the property taxes, but it's a utility rate and utility overall. So it should be self-sustaining and have cash balances to be able to handle any improvements or expenses that are needed that are unforeseen, or to run your day-to-day expenses. And you do have the appropriate amount of cash on hand in your stormwater utility. Turning to the next page, if there's no questions on that, we got the capital improvement plan information from, again, from Steve and Dennis. And as you can see, there's over the next 5 years, there's about 6.8 million in total of stormwater and drainage capital improvements that are in the plan that need to be done. We did have the stormwater improvements are about $5.75 million. Some of these projects have been around for a little while and just haven't had the funds to do. And then the cumulative drainage fund projects, you can see from 26 through 29, if if the board and county chooses to move forward with those projects with these rates. So we broke out the total capital improvements over that 5-year period. We're not anticipating any debt or bond issues with this. It would just be funded through your rates and charges. So on average, in total, it's $1,365,000 with both. If you look at just the stormwater water improvements without the drainage, it's $1,150,000 for those capital improvements. Are there any questions on that page? So, and the capital improvement plan is how we justify there are 4 main pieces of a stormwater utility revenue requirements. You have your operating disbursements, which are your day-to-day operation and maintenance for your MS4 program and to run the utility. You have any debt service or debt service reserve, which you don't have in your utility. And then you have your allowance for replacements and improvements, which are your capital items, which you should be collecting through your rates and charges from your utility rate payers. And so the capital improvement plan is a good way to justify the need for that. So on page 4, if you'll turn to page 4, this is the operating expenses for 2024 in your left-hand column for your stormwater utility, which total about $825,000. with the majority of that being salaries, wages, and benefits, and then contractual services of the utility. We've made adjustment to those for increases in pay based on the outstanding salary ordinances, some contractual services for rates periodically, and then your insurance expense addition to get to about 890,000. And then we have 3 years of 4% inflation built in, because you want to, if you're adopting rates now, you want to make sure that they're going to carry on for a while and be able to cover the costs and not have to do this every year, adjust your rates. So in all, we project your estimated O&M operating expenses to be about $1 million a year for the county stormwater utility. The next few pages just explain those, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on those if you had them. But if you want to turn to page 7, this is where we present some scenarios, and there's 2 pages of scenarios, but we do have basically calculated what the amount you have for operation maintenance expenses that we just went over, about $1 million a year. And then the options are for how much you want for that capital line item, that capital improvement plan. So we start at, currently your stormwater bill is $4.50 per month per equivalent residential unit. Your larger impervious area customers pay a multiple of that based on their equivalent residential unit. And that would increase for every 50 cents. It'd be about 11% increase, but you can see the replacements and improvements. Currently, you get about 290,000 based on, you pay your O&M first, and then you have what's left over capital. That would, if you went with a 50-cent increase to $5 per month, that would increase that capital allowance to about 440,000. And then you can see for every 50 cents in increase in rate, you go to 580, another 50. And then, as you recall, the amount for the stormwater capital improvements was $1,150,000 over the 5-year period. And that aligns with alternative number 6 there. So that would equate to a $7.50 rate per user. And then on the next page, we carry that on with 50-cent increases. And if you include the drainage in addition to the fully funded stormwater, your option 8 is about where you would need to be, or about $8.50 for those capital improvements. So, I mean, the certainly justified on, in our view, going up to the $8.50. Now it's, the board and Steve and Dennis and the county's determination on where those capital improvements need to be, and what rate you feel is the right rate. Because in Indiana, your stormwater rates, just like water and sewer, have to be cost justified. You certainly have that cost justification for adjusting those rates that are currently $4.50 and have been that way since
2014.
Yeah, 14, and now we're in 2025, almost 26. Not almost, but it's August. So,
It is.
so I'd be happy to answer any questions on that. Other than that, we do have the stormwater rates that we see across the state. Looks like you have something.
Yes, on the last pages.
Yeah.
I had asked them to prepare 50-cent increases just so you could have a little more variety to look at, from $4.50 to $10
Mm-hmm.
on the stormwater feed.
And we did include, pretty much, we do just like a water and sewer, we do a stormwater rate comparison for the state, since we work for so many across the state. And, so we updated the current rates to, and then to where they are currently, and then shown based on the options where you would end up on that. There's 3 pages of them, so there's quite a few.
So did I understand you correctly that in looking at alternative number 8 kind of matches our capital road improvement, or our capital stormwater improvement plan?
Uh-huh, yep.
Okay. I thought that's what I heard.
So that would take us to the 850.
Mm-hmm.
And of those listed in that plan, these are all projects. The first one on page 3, North Green River, or North Green Springs Valley subdivision, we actually had a study done by Lockmuller Group that projected the $4,000 cost to reconstruct the drainage ditch through that subdivision from built in the early 70s
4 million.
to
1
prevent.
million.
Yeah, 1 million of that was just DNR's penalties for, what do you want to call it, wetland payback.
Wetland replacement. So
It's a crazy.
And then Old Hickory Estates, Westwood, Fieldstone, Mansfield, Merrimack Drive, and Fall Creek, Colonial Hill subdivision. You heard from Colonial Hills at a meeting or two ago. And then, of course, the cumulative drainage funded projects are provided by Dennis to help. We've used stormwater fees in the past to help supplement county surveyor legal drain projects, just not as aggressively. But we thought it'd be a good chance to provide more funding opportunities.
I think it's
For
a really
Dennis's
good
office.
idea to do that too.
So, and those amounts you see listed on the rest of them, they're all numbers that I put together at engineering estimates so far based on current data.
I'm just curious, trivial, but is Boonville not on this list because they're not an MS4?
Boonville, City of Boonville is not an MS4 as determined by IDEM,
But they do
but
have
they do charge a $5 per month stormwater fee.
$5. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
too.
Oh, I don't have those on there.
Well, they're not an MS4, so
Okay.
it wouldn't show in your data. But Town of Chandler is a MS4. They're represented in the audience. They're at $6.50 a month. And Town of Newburgh's the only other MS4 in Warwick County, and they're at $10.50 a month. So, and I think Chandler just raised theirs about 2 years ago, Mike, 3 years now. From, was $5 to $6.50, I think. We all started at $5, just Warwick County was the only one that went backwards. The others went forward. So I asked them to come and present this information. If you all have any questions, now be the time.
I appreciate you guys updating that information to kind of get it lined out.
Sure, no problem. Happy to.
Thank you all for traveling up here today.
Oh, no problem.
Hope you enjoyed the drive.
Yeah, now with that highway done, it's
Yeah, it makes
a lot quicker than it used to be.
about 20 some minutes up here.
That's right.
Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this matter?
I just like to add that
Come on up, please, and enter your name into the record.
Michael Bell, I'm the stormwater director for Chandler, and we did raise ours, as Steve pointed out, and there was a little bit of uncertainty of how that would go over with our community. I just wanted to say that when we raised it $1.50 a month, ours is tagged on to our water bill, and I think maybe there was one citizen that might have called, but we really didn't have any pushback on it. So just wanted to say that you got to do what you got to do to take care of the stormwater. And I would speak in favor of it. I don't know what you want to do with how much of the rate increase, but we needed it in Chandler. It was a good thing, and we did not have pushback on it.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, as we all know, budgets are tighter, things are costing more. I've had a couple of phone calls from citizens that would like to express their concern about us raising rates. So I don't know, we can take a vote on it and pass it to the commissioners? Or
It has to
maybe-
pass by both the county council and the commissioners
And the commissioners, yep.
and this board.
And this board.
And I have not forwarded this draft to the council yet. I
Yep.
just want to present it to this board first.
I guess we can take it to first base and move it on down the line past this board if you so choose. First, I'll entertain a motion to exit the public meeting and enter back into the regular session.
I make that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then on the matter before us, I'll entertain a motion of whatever flavor you choose.
Could I ask a question,
Sure.
Chair? How will, being new at this, how will the stormwater allotment be sorted from the ditch maintenance allotment? Do you just, you see, these numbers, the stormwater assessment, if we raise it to $9, that has nothing to do with the surveyor's budget for cumulative drain. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I understood that. They've taken into account cumulative drain needs in this study.
Yeah, I mean, as I think Doug presented, he's looking at the $8.50 a month just to meet our capital plan. And anything
Without cumulative drain.
right above that would be more money to help cum drain. Below that would be less
Okay,
money to
that
help
helps
cum
right
drain.
there. That's what I was trying to.
And that's for the 5-year plan, as I understand it.
Steve, let me ask for maybe a little color commentary there. Under what circumstances in the past have we helped the drainage board with projects?
We've helped them several times. When Phil Baxter was county surveyor, I know we did some almost $90,000 on Summer Pecca Creek. And then there was another project
Second
around
one.
some 74,000. And then I think there was a third one of about 40-some thousand in the past.
Just general help, no extenuating circumstances that kind of
We just had the money,
triggered that.
and that's when we were more lean and less expensive. As Doug said, expenses keep going up,
Okay.
material rates, insurance, you name it. But we failed to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak.
Thank you.
It's never a popular thing to increase fees, but at some point it's going to be a necessary evil. And we discussed that our department may potentially be in the red by the end of this year if we don't do anything. I'll have to start cutting other programs out of our budget.
So would you want the motion to be for like the raise to the 850?
Do we need to dictate the rate, council?
The amount.
Yes,
Okay.
specifically.
Okay, then I'll make that motion based on recommendation.
I agree.
And that would be recommendation.
850. Would be 850.
Yeah.
What are we calling that though? 5 or 6?
Page
That
8.
is.
Recommendation, alternative 8 for $8.50.
Yeah,
Start at
alternative 8 would be the
8.
850 that Doug referred to.
Okay, I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I motion
Do you
carries
vote on this one,
3-0.
Dennis?
Isn't Dennis,
Dennis,
don't you
don't
get
you
to
vote on
vote on
this?
this one?
Vote on this board?
You are on this board, correct?
I'm not on the
No.
drainage
On
board.
that one, on the first board? Okay,
He's
Okay.
on the stormwater board.
Sorry.
okay. That one we left him off of.
Yes, we did.
So 3-0, it passes.
Anything else?
You refer it to the council.
Yes.
So we need to, in fact, make a referral in writing to the county council for their consideration. I recommend you send the Baker Tilly report with that referral so the county council can see it and understand what it is they're reading. Go ahead.
What meeting are we in right now?
Drainage board.
Stormwater.
Are we stormwater?
I don't know what he returned back to. We should have been in drainage board. Stormwater board, I'm sorry.
Stormwater.
Stormwater board.
So you,
We are
you
in
vote?
stormwater board?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we,
Okay, well, I vote for
Okay.
I'm in favor of raising the rates.
to
Okay.
clarify where we are.
he's a voting
In the
member
world.
on stormwater.
We are in
He's not
stormwater.
on drainage board.
Correct, but we are right now in stormwater.
All 4, yeah.
Okay,
So you're going to make a written referral from stormwater
from stormwater.
to the drainage board,
That was a good
Yes.
question.
$8.50.
I'm caught up
Yes.
now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Who will write that letter?
Will that be Jennifer?
Jen? Does Jen write that?
And that was the motion to approve the $8.50 per month fee at stormwater and refer it back to Drainage Board for action at the approval of 4 votes for,
4-0.
0 against. And then
Not
also
refer back to Drainage Board,
Commissioners.
referred to the county council.
County Council.
And then it has to pass both the county council and the county commissioners before it's legal.
Can it go to both of those at the same time, or does it have to go council and then commissioners, or,
Council first, then the commissioners.
so if it does not pass,
Council,
it's done?
commissioners don't have anything to vote on.
Jennifer, you got that?
It has to have a simple majority from the county council.
Okay. What's next?
Thank you. That's all the business I have for today.
I'd recommend a lobbying effort.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
You
Motion
want-
to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
I'll send you a signed one.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. for
Appreciate
coming.
it.